travel and languages. My name is Kristen. If you are like myself on a journey to learn Japanese, then you may have come across a few words that are more difficult or just sound so similar to another word that it just gets all mixed up in your mind. I know I have. And if you're not that far along in Japanese yet, you will come to realize this, that there are so many words that are very similar just because of how the language is structured. So I'm going to share my best tips with you guys to get those vocabulary words into your brain so they won't go anywhere. These tips can work for any language, but it's worked particularly best for my Japanese studies, and also for the purpose of this video I'm just going to be using Japanese examples. Okay, so the trick for remembering those words and never forgetting them is associations. Yes, flashcards work and your language programs work and your textbooks work, but if you want to hear a word once and remember it forever, you need to immediately make some sort of association in your mind. So I'm going to give you a few examples of words that I have used this method to memorize. In Japanese, when you are wanting to say that you are in favor of someone's plans or agree with what they're saying, the word for that is sansei. On the opposite side, if you want to say that you disagree or that you can't agree with those plans, it's hantai. So sansei, hantai. The way I remember these words is sansei is very similar to sensei. So you agree with your sensei most of the time, hopefully. And hantai rhymes with hentai, which you wouldn't agree with. I should probably mention that if you do make these associations a little weird or very personal to you, then it works better. For example, the word sugasugashi means refreshing, such as like wind or the morning. And I like BTS, so there's one member named Suga, and so when I think Suga, I think, oh, he might be a Sugasugashi person, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. It just matters that I can remember that word now. Okay, and there's some words where it will have the same kanji in it, so it makes the same sound and it has a similar meaning. For example, this kanji, it means to enter, and it's in several different words like nyuryoku, nyusha, nyuin, nyugaku. So for this one, it's less of a weird association and more of like you associate that sound with that meaning. And so when you hear those words, you know, like, oh, that means entering something. So if you're curious, nyuryoku means to input something like into a computer when you're typing. Nyusha means entering a new company. Nyugaku means entering a new school. Nyuin means entering the hospital, like being hospitalized. So you see they're all similar just in the way of entering something. Okay, now for a few more fun ones. So I couldn't remember the word for carrots for some reason, and so I had to think about it for a little bit, and the word for carrots is ninjin. So if you studied any kanji, you know that the kanji for person has a couple of different readings, and two of those readings are nin and jin. So in my mind, I just imagine a little like carrot army, and there we go, I can remember the word for carrots. Also, the word for your grade or score on something is tensu. The way I remember this word is I link it to an English word actually, so it kind of sounds like the word tense. And so I think of like being really tense for a test, but then, you know, the more nervous I am, the better I do on it, hopefully. Maybe not. Maybe my tensu will be bad. Also, there's some really fun ways that like you can remember a word in a sentence if you know other words similar to it. Like, for example, the word for pond is ike. So also the command form of telling someone to go is ike. So you could say like ike ni ike. So like, go jump in the pond. You can also listen to a word and see what other words they remind you of or they sound similar to and smash them together. So like the word kuramono means fruit. Fruit is really expensive in Japan, and so you often give that as gifts. So kudasai means like, you know, please give me or please do for me. And mono means thing, so like something I want you to give me. Kudasai mono. Kuramono. Smash them together. Kuramono. Fruit. I want you to give me fruit. And here's something that's not a word, but a grammar point actually. And I was having trouble remembering which particles go with transitive or intransitive verbs. And so I had to make an association with this because I kept mixing it up. So a while back I used to like a Korean artist whose name I probably am pronouncing wrong, but it's spelled Ga-in. So I couldn't think of anything else, and also it does help to make it a little weird or personal to you. So I used her name as a mnemonic device so that I could remember that ga goes with an intransitive verb. If you haven't gotten to transitive and intransitive verbs yet, save this one for later. So I hope that you maybe learned some vocabulary and got some good tips out of this, but remember that in the end you have to make those associations yourself, and it has to be personal to you, because obviously if you don't know the artist that I'm talking about and any of her music, or barely even remember her name, you're not going to remember that association. So please give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Don't forget to comment and subscribe, and let me know some of your favorite memorization techniques. I would love to hear them. 一緒に頑張りましょう. Bye bye.